We have Ross's ratings, which are actually Chidge's ratings, and we're going to have a quick look at that and run through what I thought about the player performances. So let's have a look at the old ratings, shall we? Oh, we're getting a bit of talk back in my ear. How exciting. Well, oh, no, that's a still. That's, in fact, Browner's goal, which is lovely to see. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to run through them anyway because I just can't be bothered to wait, really. First of all, I awarded Courtois 6. OK.
Was that because of his rollout towards the end?
No, there are reasons why. There we go. Here's our ratings on screen now. We've got Courtois got 6. Let me just run through them. Courtois got 6. Azpilicueta got 6. Terry got 6. Cahill got 6. This is like the third week in a row I think I've given mainly the defence 6 and also given Branner the highest mark. He gets an 8. I've given in the midfield Ramirez 7, Matic 7, and then Hazard got 8, Fabregas got 8, Willian got 7, and Diego Costa got a whopping great big 9. And for the subs, Mikel got 7. And I decided not to give Luis or Drogba a mark because I didn't feel... Going by Ross's rules, enough, exactly, they weren't on there long enough. So what do you have to say about that?
Can I say that I think the Ramirez should be a 6?
You know what?
I feel he gives the ball away too much, even though he runs around like a dervish.
Yeah, a whirling dervish, in fact.
No, he doesn't whirl, but
doesn't
he
he?
still runs.
I think his arms and legs whirl.
Well, that's twirl more, I think.
Twirly, whirly.
Yeah.
I think Rami had a bit of a game of two halves, really. You know, he was very good going forward. He seemed to sort of have a bit of an involvement in a lot of the goals, and there were lots of them. But he just seemed to lose it a bit at the back.
And he scored a good goal, very successful.
You see, that's the thing. I'm glad Dan defended my honour before I actually had to. But I normally have a massive downer on Ramirez, as we all know. And I was tempted to give him a 6. But then I thought, actually, do you know what? He scored a fantastic goal. He made an assist, and he did run around a lot, which I know always gets him at least 1 mark.
There was that terrible moment when he got through, though, and he had several options and just laid the ball to the left.
Several times,
Absolutely
Jonathan.
Nobody at all.
Yeah, there were several occasions.
That's Ramirez all over, isn't it? He's fine until he has to think.
Well, or pass, you know.
Bless him, he's a little bit hard of thinking, I think,
he
sometimes.
Bless him. But there's something about Ramirez I love, actually.
But it seems that he's horses for courses, isn't it? Because the manager chose him for that game, and I suspect he won't be around for the next
Well,
game.
I think that's a very interesting thing.
With the squad.
I do think that's a very interesting thing because, of course, Fabregas came on and he played in Oscar's position, which I thought was interesting. And I thought Fabregas had a decent game as well. For me, Fabregas kind of conducted the orchestra, really. I loved the way he did that from the number 10 position, Dan.
Yeah, and that's... almost regardless of where he's been placed on the pitch, that's what he's done in the first 3 games of the season. He really has been the sort of the orchestrator of everything that's been good about Chelsea. So, you know, really exciting signing. Looking very good.
Do you think that, you know, in view of the fact that a lot of teams are going to park the bus, okay, at Stamford Bridge, that we can call Fabregas the bus conductor?
No.
Does that sound a tumbleweed?
Yep, I can see it whizzing across the screen.
It's the kind of joke you appreciate but don't actually laugh at.
Okay.
Like a port.
Yeah.
Should I feel encouraged by that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm slightly
it's clever.
Okay, look, the main for me, I mean, again, you know, the people who got 8, I mean, Hazard got an 8 and Fabregas got an 8. Branner, again, another
Branner was wonderful.
Stupendous performance.
Yeah.
Do you realise he was our second most effective striker? I've got a great stat here. 3 shots, 1 goal, 1 on target. You know, the other one was obviously not on target, but statistically, he was our second best striker. How about that?
Can I unleash a stat that the Chadder has no doubt got for later in the game? But it's that he's the last. Who was the last Chelsea player to score in his first 3 Premier League games?
Mutu.
Exactly. Well, a bit worrying that, isn't it?
Yeah. But you say that, but I mean, you know, surely, you know, Costa has to get a 9. I mean, Jose said it afterwards, didn't he? He said it's the most complete performance that, you know, from a centre forward. I loved it. I mean, 2 superb goals, getting in Coleman's face, squaring up to Tim Howard, Taliban Tim, as I now name him, squaring up to Howard, not taking a step back. 2 monster tackles near his own penalty box. Yeah. That and Jose mentioned this post-match as well. I was so delighted that he picked up on that because I was getting out of my seat going mental when he did that. I just loved that.
I found there was a lot of getting out of your seat going mental watching that game.
It was just crazy, wasn't it?
It was.
Really,
and he holds the ball up, which is
he does.
something that Torres wouldn't do.
No.
Well, can't
also,
do.
there's a fire about him. There's a strength that
fire in the belly.
Torres never had. There's a competitive spirit in him. You just go,
love him.
I spoke to Azpilicueta after the game, and one of the things I asked, I don't know if you noticed it when you're watching it, but whenever Azpi went forward, he would drop back into the left-back position. And how long has it been since we've seen a striker for Chelsea do that? Well, Didier Drogba, I suppose, is the
Yeah,
last
but do you
one,
know
really.
what? Actually, those tackles he made near the penalty box, they reminded me of Drogba. That's what Drogba used to
Yeah.
do. The other thing I was quite impressed by was Hazard's tracking back. He kept, because of course Coleman's quite a threat going forward, and Hazard made a big effort to get back, didn't he, Seb?
I thought Hazard, attacking-wise, wasn't great, but obviously that
Second half
burst.
possibly better.
Yeah, that burst to score for the own goal was amazing. I mean, once he's got past you, that is it. It's game over. Going backwards, I thought he actually had a really good game, and we've seen maybe for the last 18 months that he's kind of decided to go track back now, and it's important to his game. If he wants to be a great player, he has to do both sides of the game. Yeah, exactly.
We've got to go for a break in a minute, but before we do, let's have a quick look at what the benches, or see what the benches have to say about the ratings. Are you generally approving the ratings this week, benches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chistan's good.
Okay, I'm liking that. You're approving it. I feel we can now go to a break happily, knowing that they
I don't think
approve.
you should be encouraged about these sixes
I
you
do.
give everybody.
No, I think it's Ross's rules. Right, we are going to go for a very quick break, but we will be back after that to talk more detail about the Chelsea-Everton game. I, for one, cannot wait. We will see you in a minute.